2020. I want to do a podcast today to go over our latest protocol regarding COVID-19 and also discuss with you the live rescue TV program that is going to start filming in our area starting next week. First of all, with regards to the protocol that I sent out this morning, I wanted to go over this to make certain that there was no ambiguity as to what we were looking for. The top portion of it revolves around notifying the hospital of any known positive COVID-19 patients or suspected COVID-19 patients. Very simple. Ask all of these four questions, whether it's fever of 100 or greater, shortness of breath, or cough, persistent cough, or if they have a known positive test in the last 14 days. And then the last question asks if they've had exposure or a significant exposure with someone who's a known COVID-19 patient. The reason why we want to do this is any of these four, we're going to notify the hospital of a COVID alert. And I'm sorry for the change of terminology, but it really got confusing after our last protocol change as to what the intent was behind this. So our hospitals are still going to be meeting us out in the bay to be able to change over the patient. And so it's important for them to know if we have any positive patients coming their way. This will help you to be able to offload quicker, and it'll also help them to be able to prepare their staff for that. Once they meet you in the ambulance bay, then they're taking over the patient, and then they may put them in a particular room based upon their symptoms and what their treatment is. That's what the second part of the protocol will initiate, is what type of exposure hazard do they possess. And those two questions are very simple. Are they on any type of advanced airway like nebulizer, BiPAP, or CPAP? If that's the case, then we want to let them know that there is a high risk of exposure. Additionally, we want to let them know if they have any active vomiting. Either of these two, they're not going to be able to wear a mask, and there is a potential to getting droplets on you, your truck, and then also the staff there at the hospital. So any of those two questions, if they are yes to those two, when you are calling in your radio report to the charge nurse, you're going to let them know this is a high risk of exposure. And it also prompts you, the protocol prompts you to also don extra PPE. We know now that we're using eye protection, an N95 mask, and gloves on every single patient contact. If you have either of these two high risk type patients, then you're going to don extra PPE in the way of a gown. And the reason why we're requiring this is because there's a lot of times where we have patients that don't meet the COVID profile, but yet they have these higher risk of exposure, and then we find out later that they're positive. So we really want to avoid any unnecessary cross-contamination of the COVID-19, so we're asking that you put on these gowns whenever you have either of those two. And this also goes for cardiac arrest. Those are going to be our highest risk patients for being able to transmit COVID-19. So we want anyone who's working in arrest to please take the time, don your gown before you actually start working with the patient. Same thing as if we were going to a house fire. Yes, it's very important for us to get in there and make a rescue, but we're not going to do that without appropriate PPE. And I'm asking that you please take that time to make certain that that precaution is taken care of. So this protocol has gone out to everyone in fire rescue. It's also gone to our partnering agencies around the county, and we've also discussed it with the Combined Communications Center and then all three of our hospitals. We've also taken the time to print this off, a front and back if you will, and have it laminated, and we have one of these for every single unit and every station. So your DCs are going to be passing those around and making certain that you have that on your trucks. So in addition to that, I'm also going to be sending out a work practice and social distancing guideline. The most recent memo that I sent out is a little bit over a month ago. It was the County Memorandum 20-016. In that memorandum, I outlined several different things that I was asking our folks to do at the station. It also outlined how you're supposed to be coming into the station and going through the steps and the guidelines for being able to make certain that you have not met any of the COVID-19 criteria. What this new thing is going to do, it's not to replace that, but what it's going to do is hopefully get rid of any ambiguity and give you a step-by-step what we want you to do. A, when you're doing crew change. B, when you're exercising. C, just everyday station routine cleaning. It also outlines even meal plans and stuff like that, recommendations to be able to have the social distancing or added protection of a face mask while you're at the station. So please take these guidelines seriously. I want them to be printed off and visible at every single station, and so that way your supervisors can also go through this with your employees. One of the things that we really highlighted on it in bold red letters is if you're sick, don't come to work. We've had a couple folks show up to work sick, or they knew that they were sick the day before. I can't say enough that we're in week 22 now of COVID-19. You can't come to work sick. So please, if you have any type of symptoms that match COVID-19, and those are shortness of breath or a persistent cough, any type of GI issues that can't be explained. If you had a bad meal and then you immediately get sick, that's probably not it. But if you continue to have abdominal issues, you need to notify us. In addition to that, any type of fever of 100 or greater, we want you to notify the health and safety officer. You can do this by calling the number 264-6999. That's 352-264-6999. If you have any of these symptoms on duty or off, call this number immediately. Either myself, Captain Malfers, or Chief Ogle will answer, and then we'll go through a list of questions that we're going to ask you to see if it's COVID-19 or related. And the reason why we're having you do this is so that way we don't have any unnecessary exposures into the fire stations. So by calling this number, we'll direct you whether or not you need to call the district chief to call out sick for your related shift, or we may also direct you to call the COVID hotline. So we're vetting out all of these type of illnesses through the health and safety officer, and we want you to take this seriously. Officers, please make certain you share this with your folks, because if you show up to work sick, it's going to possibly contaminate the whole crew, and we want to really avoid that. So there's also some changes in the new sheets that you're supposed to fill out whenever you're starting your shift and also halfway through the shift. We want you to make certain that you take the time to read it. It says in bold or in highlighted words up at the top, if you're sick, go home. Okay, we want to really make certain that we're emphasizing that. But it also asks a couple of other questions about the GI and stuff like that. So please make certain that you're filling those out immediately. Supervisors have a single point entrance for the station, so that way that gets done right away. We're not supposed to go in and start drinking coffee and hanging out until we've actually gone through that process. And the reason is we want to make certain that if there is any symptoms that you weren't aware of, you now can identify those and be able to get out of the station. So with that, we also were trying to aeroclave the stations and also the trucks. Trying to do this on a regular basis. We will be able to do that so long as we have staff to be able to do that, and also enough solution to be able to maintain. So all of this is in an effort to keep you guys safe, keep you guys on the road. You're a very vital part of our organization and a very vital part of this community. So we want to make certain that you're staying at work and that you're healthy, and then that you're healthy when you go home to your families. So in addition to that, we wanted to talk about the live rescue that's coming up next week. I know this is a little bit short of notice. We weren't quite certain if this was going to happen, but we are very excited that this has been vetted out through our legal department, and we are going to be hopefully getting this approved next week at the Board of County Commissioners agenda. So once that's signed and sealed, we are going to be meeting with the camera crews, and we're going to have 2 camera crews that are going to ride with 2 of our rescues. This may change throughout the course of the season. That's 15 weeks long, but we're going to have not live shoots that are going to happen Tuesday through Thursday, and that's going to be during normal business hours. So from 8 to 5, Tuesday through Thursday. One camera crew will be riding with a specific unit and another one with another unit, and they're going to ride through that whole time. Now, we've already vetted out some of the officers and crew members that are going to be doing the rides. They are going to be going through a process of understanding, exactly what the expectations are. But because we are going to be running with these crews, we've asked that we put our best face foot forward, and we're going to require that you wear Class B uniforms anytime that you are on a call or assigned to a call through those business hour days. So Tuesday through Thursday, 8 to 5, or on Friday and Saturday when they're doing their live shots. That's going to be from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Anytime during those times, we're going to ask you to put on your Class B uniform. That's your button-up shirt. Anytime that you run on a call with these folks. Obviously, if it's a fire call and you're donning your PPE, you won't be needing to do that. But anytime you're riding an EMS call or anything that does not require your turnout jacket, you will be required to wear a Class B. So again, we're trying to show the most absolute professionalism that we can. We ask that you guys be with us and put our best foot forward and make certain that we have a great positive impact as this is going to be a nationally shown TV program. So as this starts to develop, we will probably have additional comments and needs from you guys. In the interim, please just let us know if you don't feel comfortable being shot by the TV crew, and we will make certain that we are trying to do everything we can to make certain that you are excluded from that. However, when it's on a call during the live TV program, as they're shooting in the streets, they're going to be as if they were a regular TV program or TV news agency out in the streets. Obviously, they're not going to go into the homes of our patients or inside of a local business whenever they go on a call, and we will be sending out more information as we learn how that process is going to work out. So thank you guys so much for all of the hard work that you're doing. I know it's tough times, and we really do appreciate all the extra work and effort that you're putting into the PPE and documentation